Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and man, we gotta talk about it. This is a big debate topic. Will the Washington football team really be the Chiefs' toughest offensive challenge in this 2021 NFL season? We're gonna talk about all of that and more. I'm gonna break down bit by bit, point by point, exactly why I believe we will be. But there was also a catalyst for this video. I didn't just think of this out of nowhere. Somebody, not even a Washington football team analyst or reporter or fan, is the one that brought this topic up and said that we would be. He ranked his top 5 defenses that the Chiefs will face in 2021. And we're going to dive into all of that. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time and immediately I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos, so make sure you go check all of those out. Again, do not forget to subscribe. Let's get it. Alright, so this whole thing started because on June 7th, Braden Holecek from FullPressCoverage.com, again, not a Washington football team reporter, not a burgundy and gold fan, a neutral analyst, took a look at all of the Chiefs' opponents on their 2021 schedule and ranked the top defenses that they will face. He said the 5th will be the Los Angeles Chargers. That is an emerging defense. Number 4 are the Cleveland Browns. A lot of talent. They only got even better in the offseason. Got a steal in JOK. Signed John Johnson and Troy Hill. Drafted Greg Newsome. I mean, they went crazy. And then they picked up Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, that's just crazy in itself. Then he ranked the Denver Broncos 3rd. Said the Steelers would be 2nd, and then ranked us 1st. So that got me to thinking, if this is somebody that's not even a Washington football team fan or reporter, this is a neutral analyst, is this a realistic answer? Will the Washington football team, like, actually for real be the Chiefs' toughest offensive challenge out of their entire season? And I say yes. Let me break this down to y'all. First of all, advanced stats tell you everything. And mind you, these are the stats from last year. This is before we drafted Jamin Davis, drafted Benjamin St. Juste, signed Bobby McCain, and most importantly, signed William Jackson to be our number 1 shutdown corner. So these stats I'm about to give y'all is before we even upgraded mightily in talent. I mean, you can easily say us and the Browns, out of all of the top defenses last year, probably improved the most. First of all, the Washington football team defense was 1st in passing yards allowed, 2nd in total yards allowed, 2nd in pass yards allowed, 2nd in third quarter points allowed, tied for 2nd in fourth quarter points allowed, tied for 2nd in pass touchdowns allowed, 3rd in pass completions allowed, 3rd in total first downs allowed, 3rd in expected points contributed by defense, 4th in points allowed, 4th in red zone percentage, 5th in percentage of drives ending in an offensive score, tied for 5th in interceptions, tied for 5th in passing yards allowed per completion, 6th in third down percentage, 6th in sacks, and tied for 7th in takeaways. And the most important stat of them all, we were 3rd in defensive DVOA, only behind the Steelers and the Saints. And again, I think it's obvious that the Cleveland Browns and the Washington football team have done the most to improve their defenses going from 2020 to the 2021 season. So we've definitely done more to become a better defense than the Steelers and Saints have done. But also, I wanted to look at this as a true film watcher. I wanted to break this down position by position, X's and O's, not just stats. What are the matchups? First up, Tyreek Hill. Who do we have? William Jackson and Kendall Fuller. William Jackson has the perfect build and play style, elite speed, length, and aggression to counter a Tyreek Hill. Remember in 2017, when he was statistically one of the best corners in NFL history, he allowed the lowest catch rate since 2006 that year, even lower than Darrelle Revis in that span, and it was literally a smarter passing rating wise to throw the ball out of bounds every play than to throw it towards him that season. That 2017 season for William Jackson was magical, and I'm expecting that, if not even more, out of him for this season because of the team around him, the defensive line, the linebackers, the safeties behind him, how much help he has, how much easier his job will be. Jack Del Rio being the genius he is, I'm expecting William Jackson to get back to that 2017 form, if anything, even become a little bit better. I mean, this 2017 season, he was man-to-man single covering players with very similar play styles to Tyreek Hill. The best receiver in the NFL that year, Antonio Brown, twice that year, and even T.Y. Hilton. And don't forget about Kendall Fuller, because he's a good outside corner, but he's an elite slot corner. So if St. Juice is able to take over that cornerback 2 spot, Fuller can go back to the slot and cover Tyreek Hill at times as well. And remember, Kendall Fuller was receiving best slot corner in the NFL league-wide type of recognition way back in 2017 before we traded him to the Chiefs for Alex Smith. And remember, he played outside most of the time for the Chiefs and even played outside as our #1 corner last year. So he's gone a little under the radar because he hasn't been so great playing so much outside corner for the last 3-4 years. Now he's potentially going back to his best position and could potentially be a direct counter for a Tyreek Hill. We have the guys, William Jackson and Kendall Fuller, we have the guys for a quick, shifty, fast guy like a Tyreek Hill. Not necessarily sure if they can shut him down. That's going to be more so the defensive line's doing. We're going to discuss them a little later, but they can definitely do the best job against them, potentially out of most of the corners in the NFL. Next up, you have Travis Kelsey. Who do we have to match up against that? Jamin Davis. Arguably the best coverage player against Kyle Pitts last year. Out of all corners, safeties, and linebackers that covered Kyle Pitts last year in college, Jamin Davis is one of the best and arguably the best at it. He held his own. Thankfully, we play the Chiefs week 6, not week 1, so hopefully he's taking the necessary steps in development by then. Could literally be the X factor to the game, the matchup that matters the most. If Jamin Davis can do his best Levante David in the Super Bowl impression and erase Travis Kelsey from the game, we are definitely in good hands. Jamin Davis is more explosive, faster, more agile, quicker, twitchier, and potentially stronger than a Levante David. It's all mental and technique that's in the way of Jamin Davis right now from being one of the best linebackers in the NFL. If he can get just at least some of that mental development, some of that technique refinement by the time we play the Chiefs, he could potentially take Travis Kelsey out the game. Not guaranteeing it, but the theme of this video is, if anybody can, why not us? Then you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire and pretty much any running back in the Andy Reid offense, honestly. Because we all know Andy Reid loves for his running backs to play a consistent role in the passing game. And with Cameron Curl, Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis, Khaleke Hudson, and maybe even Shaka Toney if he's ready by then, we're going to have guys locked and loaded waiting to cover those guys, or at least make the open field tackle after those guys catch the ball out of the backfield or whatever in short yardage situation. Chiefs screens that normally go for like 20-30 yards will probably only go for like 5 or less against us. Then you also have the revamped Chiefs offensive line. What do we have to counter that? The best defensive line in football. Levante David taking Travis Kelsey out of the equation played a big part in Tampa Bay's victory in the Super Bowl over the Chiefs, but it pales in comparison to how much of an effect Tampa Bay's dominance at the line of scrimmage had on the outcome of the game. Granted, it's not fair because the Chiefs had major injuries in their O-line by the time they reached the Super Bowl, but Tampa Bay took advantage of that. One big thing to note though, the Chiefs took their biggest weakness in February and potentially turned it into their greatest strength. There is an argument to be had that the Chiefs now have the best offensive line in football, at least one of the best lines. If that O-line they threw out there in the Super Bowl would have been their actual regular season O-line, like just for hypothetical reasons, it would have been one of the worst O-lines in the NFL. So the point is, moving forward, this Chiefs O-line is completely different from the O-line that the Buccaneers beat up on in the Super Bowl. They signed All-Pro Joe Thuney to play left guard. They traded for All-Pro talent Orlando Brown to play left tackle, and drafted Creed Humphrey to start at center. Those are huge improvements. But even so, if there exists a D-line that can consistently win against this new revamped Chiefs O-line and consistently get pressure and disrupt the game, if such a D-line could possibly exist, I'm putting my money on it being the Washington football team's D-line featuring Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, and Matt Ioannidis, along with Jack Del Rio's ability to draw up very effective blitzes from anybody on the field. Corner, safeties, linebackers, we're sending everybody at him. Anybody can be thrown at Pat Mahomes. And speaking of Pat Mahomes, you also have to break down Pat Mahomes' mobility. This defense is not only potentially the best in the NFL, but it is also potentially the most athletic. Even if you push back on the proclamation that the Washington football team will have the best defense in the NFL in 2021, you can't argue against the fact that it is the most athletic. Most importantly, freakishly athletic all along its front seven. Pat Mahomes isn't the most mobile guy, but he's fast and smart enough to make a lot of plays outside of the pocket, whether it be running the ball for a first down himself or throwing for a first down while scrambling. This front seven is the most athletic in the NFL, and if there's any front seven in the NFL that can suppress Pat Mahomes' ability to extend plays, it's this one. Remember, Jamin Davis, according to RAS, is the 15th most athletic linebacker to be drafted into the NFL since 1987, out of over 2,300 linebackers. Montez Sweat is 6'6", 262 pounds, and ran a faster 40 time than Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Golden Tate, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Odell Beckham Jr., Stephon Diggs, Derwin James, and Christian McCaffrey. And we are still having debates about whether or not he's even the most athletic defensive lineman on this team, because Daron Payne is secretly one of the most freakishly athletic guys to come out of Alabama in recent years, and Chase Young is Chase Young. If anybody can catch Pat Mahomes while he's on the run, it's this front seven. And don't forget about Landon Collins if healthy, and the Mr. Playmaker himself, the biggest steal of the 2020 draft, Cameron Curl, also contributing. Then the most important part is Pat Mahomes' passing. And with how versatile this secondary is, with our projected starting free safety and Bobby McCain being great in the slot as well, with our number one corner, William Jackson, being able to lock up a small, shifty, quick receiver like Antonio Brown all 100 yards of the field, and a big, athletic, strong receiver like Kenny Golladay in the red zone, with our second best corner, Kendall Fuller, having the ability to play both outside and inside like I previously explained, with Benjamin St. Juste emerging with his very rare combination of length and agility and twitchiness, so he could potentially press man outside and play in any zone coverage you need him to, with Cameron Curl excelling at literally everything in the secondary other than just cover one single high free safety. He can cover tight ends, running backs, slot receivers, and also make plays in the box. And with even several depth pieces being able to play multiple positions in the secondary, and with Jack Del Rio being the genius that he is, and with this defensive line not giving Pat Mahomes as much time to scan the field and throw the ball as he would like, I believe this team will be able to force turnovers, disguising coverages, because multiple guys can play multiple positions in the secondary. And then on top of that, Pat Mahomes has only a couple of seconds to make something happen with this D-line on the way. This defense can get interceptions out of any quarterback, out of any offense, even from Mahomes and the Chiefs. And on top of that, Daron Payne and Montez Sweat are elite at batting down passes at the line. And if they bat a few up, it dramatically increases the chances of us causing even more turnovers. If there is a direct counter for this Chiefs offense, it is this, because again, once you have that number one lockdown corner, which we were lacking last year, to be able to just basically take away a whole half of the field, and now you're able to use all of the rest of your resources to cover the other half of the field, that makes playing defense so much easier and more simple. There's no communication breakdowns and coverages or things like that at all. William Jackson's going to shut down one side of the field. Everybody else just has to handle the rest. Then you also have the Chiefs screen game. And who do we have for that? Chase Young and William Jackson. They are both elite in making plays against opposing teams' screens. Both Young from the edge rusher spot and William Jackson, an outside corner, have film filled with them disrupting screen plays. Jackson is a really good block shedder against receivers, and Chase Young seems to know plays are going to happen before they happen somehow, and he also has the freak athleticism to chase down plays from behind if it comes to that. And with Cole Holcomb's and Jamin Davis's sideline to sideline speed, If those two are able to get their play recognition skills up to par, the Washington football team defense could potentially shut down the Chiefs screen game. And that's a big part. A lot of people don't think about that because the Chiefs kill teams and opposing defenses over and over again, game after game, with that screen game that they have going. And if we can shut that down, if we can take Travis Kelsey out the game, and if we can just mitigate some of Tyreek Hill's impact, that can truly give cause Pat Mahomes to have one of his worst games of the season, which is still probably going to be really good, but it's going to be his least effective, his least great. And then also, another thing we may have to worry about is any other receiver. Because their team is loaded. It's not just Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but a rising name in Benjamin St-Juste could potentially counter whatever other receiver they throw at us. William Jackson will take care of every other team's number one corner. We already know that. That's going to be all season. And if Benjamin St-Juste is truly worthy of all of this praise he's getting so far in off-season workouts, he would be able to hold his own against the likes of, first of all, my two boys, Mecole Hardman and Cornell Powell, both receivers I'm rooting for against any other team except us for many different reasons. And then also there's DeMarcus Robinson over there. If Benjamin St-Juste can hold his own against them, that gives Pat Mahomes even less options in this passing game. And then also the Chiefs' offensive communication. We have the home fans to counter that. There will finally be packed stadiums again. And honestly, the Bucs took advantage of a very rare, unique, and lucky situation in last year's playoff run. They didn't earn a home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so they had to play away for every playoff game, but it didn't matter. There were no fans. And then, when the Super Bowl came, which is supposed to be on neutral ground, there were finally fans back in the stadium, around 25,000 people, and then it happened to be in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady is really out here playing chess, not checkers, y'all. Y'all really not peeping the moves he's making. But the Chiefs were easily the away team in the Super Bowl somehow, which usually doesn't happen. And there were obvious situations where they seemed flustered by their inability to communicate as easily as they could all season previously. Now, when they pull up to Landover, Maryland, there will be around 82,000 fans. And I'm not sure if they will be back fully adjusted to dealing with crazy crowd noise by week 6. Maybe they will be, maybe they will not be. We'll see. But in summary, that's really the theme of this entire video. There's a lot of uncertainty here. Who knows if the Chiefs will be affected by our crowd noise in week 6? Who knows if Jamin Davis will be ready to cover Travis Kelsey one-on-one by week 6? But my point is, if there is a team that can take away this player, if there's a team that can consistently get pressure on Mahomes, if there's a team that can create turnovers, that can disrupt Mahomes' timing, why not us? I'm not saying we will shut the Chiefs down, but the overall thesis of this video is, if anybody can do it, why not the Washington football team? But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Again, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release informative and opinionated videos just like this one. Also, please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Please get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Whether you're a Washington football team fan or a Chiefs fan, that matchup week 6 is going to be something to behold, because that's going to be a clash of titans right there. Y'all offense with our defense, that may be one of arguably the best matchups in the NFL. Maybe not entirely team-wise with our offense versus y'all defense, but y'all offense versus our defense is going to be one of the best matchups in the NFL this upcoming season, because the Chiefs will potentially have the number 1 offense. We will potentially have the number 1 defense. That's going to be a really fun game. I think it's honestly going to come to who is able to outcoach the other team, but we'll see. I definitely feel like we have a way better chance in winning that game than most people will probably give us credit for, but that's a whole nother topic. But again, I appreciate the support, y'all, man. Please get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please like this video, please subscribe. I appreciate everybody that donates to the channel, man, big time. Big shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now. And a big special shouts out to my one All-Pro sponsor, Jaden. Again, I really appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for more content. I'm trying to come out with daily uploads all the way through the off season, so we'll get there. Stay tuned. Catch y'all later. I'm out.